It's just sweet oak. You're just sucking on sweet wood. Oh god, that's gonna make it on the entrance to the episode.
Yeah. Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should, and you probably are, and that's why we like you, and we like you for a lot of other reasons too, like I said last time. But this week we are doing just a normal episode, no interview episode this week. I'm excited to just do a normal episode. I love me a good interview episode. I love when we can have Mark Viertaler or Nick Taylor or other people on. Always a good time, but I miss just shooting the breeze. I miss just talking like we normally do. So here's some business this week. Comment on YouTube. We love that stuff. Hit us up on YouTube.
We will
something
respond
in the comments. Yeah, we'll probably very much respond. We will respond. And that's the business for this week. So yeah, let me back up. If that's not the business, if you're not one to comment on YouTube, become someone who comments on YouTube. And just help us out, and always like the video if you can. Smash that subscribe button or whatever they say.
Little business on Secret Sampler too. If you're a Patreon supporter and you're in the Secret Sampler this year, we did send out emails already. Check your junk folders, check your spam folders. We tell you who you're paired with and who you need to scrap together some samples for.
Yep. So that's the business this week. Here's the podcast. Brian, what's new, man? It's been like 3 weeks since we asked that question. So
I know the last two episodes have been like, what's new? Or like, how's it going? And I'm like, it's good.
Okay, no.
Right.
Yeah.
It's bad. All right. And now we're moving on to our interview.
Yeah. You ever see the meme that's like, why is everyone always asking about up dog when they should really be asking about wrong dog?
What's wrong, dog?
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, last weekend had a lot of fun. There was a little get together for a local guy here down in Tucson, south of me, has a YouTube channel.
That's right.
And his YouTube channel is called Your Drinking Buddy.
That's right.
On YouTube. And so
Seems
he
like
had
a
a
young
little
guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure how old he is, but he had a little get together where a bunch of us met at a restaurant where he's good friends with. I think he's like the head bartender at the restaurant. Restaurant is called Nana's Kitchen in Tucson, and so about 14 of us showed up, and we were all sitting at a long table, and the bartender poured a flight for us. And there was some decent stuff in the flight. There were I haven't had much Widow Jane at all, but he poured Widow Jane 13. Widow Jane Vaults 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Elijah Craig 18.
Oh goodness.
And I'm struggling to remember what the last one was, but it's something I wasn't familiar with at all.
Was it like a 21 year?
No.
Because you were going up in age, so
I know. Yeah. The Elijah Craig 18 was first in the flight. So that
as it should be.
He laid that on us. Yeah, I know, right? Or else you're not even gonna taste it by the time you get to the end. But
also it's like it's a letdown. Usually Elijah Craig 18 is a letdown.
Totally was to me too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because I had gotten a bottle actually from Total Wine. I got it back when it was $150 at least. It's like $200 now.
Oh,
but and it was like I felt like I was just drinking tea. I felt like I was drinking wood water. I will never. I mean, I know it's a single barrel.
It's like 90 proof, right?
It is literally 90 proof.
Yeah. And
I know you don't.
It's not like an Eagle Rare 90 proof either.
No, not at all. Yeah, it is a watery 90 proof, and it is a single barrel, so some might be better than others on different bottlings, but just it's not a risk I ever want to take anymore.
Yeah.
That last one though was called High and Wicked. Have you ever heard of High and Wicked?
No.
Yeah. I think the bottling name was Jury, so it was High and Wicked Jury. Okay. It was dark. It was really dark. I want to say it was cognac finished or
okay.
It was definitely finished, but I didn't write down what it was finished in.
That's cool.
But I think it was a little over 100 proof, and that was like everybody's favorite of the night. That one was so good. Always makes me wonder though. There was one thing that Nick Taylor said. He said, I can get anybody to like a bottle by putting it in a certain place in the lineup.
Uh-huh.
So, and like we all knew that this was going to be like a pretty special flight. So it
Nice.
kind of seemed like maybe by the time we get to number 4, we're like, it's number 4. It's the last one. It's going to be
Totally.
so good.
It's like psychology. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now, yeah. And you got to hang out with Jim Mathwig, I imagine, while you were down in Tucson.
Yep. I did pop over, had a little errand to run, go drop something off at the father-in-law's house.
Nice.
But and I went to Del Bac for the first time in my entire life.
Nice.
I did not get to meet Mark. Mark,
did
was
you
a
get
little
to
busy
meet
that day.
Ada?
Oh, I think so. Is Ada
dog.
who did the blend for summer? Ada's
No, I'm
blend?
talking about literally the dog.
Oh my gosh.
I think her
No.
name's Ada.
There were no dogs did blends at Del
Oh,
Bac.
she's so cute. She's like a gray Australian Shepherd. So cute.
There were
Shout
no
out.
dogs, but they do have a distillery cat. That was adorable.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember what the cat's name was, but
yeah,
it's so funny. I'm just so bad with names. I assumed you were talking.
Were you thinking
about
the daughter of the owner?
Frankly, I've not.
No,
all bets are off. I have no idea.
No. It's all good.
But there's a master distiller down there who did the summer cut, and
Nice.
that's what I was thinking of. Just as soon as you said a name, my brain was like,
totally. Did you meet Dustin while you were there?
Dustin, no.
Okay.
I met Carlos. Carlos, I'm not sure he's a distiller, but he was the guy that Mark had reached out to and said, "Hey, Brian Rapp's coming. You got to give him a tour, and you got to let him have a tasting." And they gave me a bottle of Dorado to take home, and they were super nice. Super nice.
Yeah, they take good care of people. So
yeah, they did a great
still
tour,
like them objectively. Yeah, that's cool.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to see those 53-gallon Pedro Jimenez sherry butts.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I like when we were doing the sampling, I was like, "Hey, so those barrels over there? Yeah, I was hearing about those barrels." So I was like, "Please take me over to those barrels." but
cool.
they didn't. I didn't get to like sample anything crazy or anything. So it's all good.
2016, my wife and I drove from Colorado to Virginia to move, and we stopped in Frankfort, Kentucky, and I reached out to a connection I have there, and you know, at that time I'd been writing a blog, and the blog had done decently well. It wasn't crazy well, but it was good enough to get the attention of a few people at Buffalo Trace. And so I reached out. It was a Saturday that we stopped by, and I was like, "Hey, you know, bro, like, can I shake your hand? Can I like say hi?" And he's like, "I won't be there because it's Saturday, but I will set you up with Freddie Johnson, and Freddie Johnson will give you a like your own tour."
Yes.
And so it was awesome. We went to like Warehouse H, we went to Warehouse X, which is so cool.
I'm hearing the X-Files.
Yeah, no. So Warehouse X is like their purely experimental warehouse. It's very small compared to the other warehouses, but they were doing like infrared stuff. They were doing a ton of things, and
wow,
it was so legit. And we did like a regular tour too, but then he like broke off and pulled out the golf cart, and we like went around. It was so cool. So
awesome.
Talk about fun tours that are special. I was like, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, not even a tour. That sounds like a bona fide tour.
Yeah, I was about to say. Now, what do you say? I forget.
I'm a tour guy. I say tour. It's a tour to me. I don't know why, but that's what I do.
Tour.
What about you though? What you been up to? It's been a while.
A lot of things. Last week, well, about 3 weeks ago, I signed up for a holiday market to sell my jewelry. And so I like was cranking out pieces. I probably had like 60 to 70 pieces going into the market this past Saturday. And the market sucked. It was like I couldn't sell. I only sold one piece at full price.
Dang.
The rest of it just had to be like, "Hey, I'll give you 20% off if you're interested." And like it was terrible. So what I've realized over time selling my jewelry is worth more than other jeweler. Not more than other jeweler. Like more than like if there's someone at the market that sells beads, I'm not going to sell at this market, if that makes sense. If they sell like beaded necklaces and bracelets and stuff, it's not my market. And so why I say that is because people go to those kind of markets, spend $20 maximum and get a few fun things. But like my average price is like 50 plus for a piece.
Yeah.
And
more of a quality step up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not so much just. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done like markets before where it's like I just made a killing because everyone else was really high quality fancy stuff. And
You
in
were the more
fact, at that
economy buy there. Yeah.
no, I was well, I
No?
was, but then people walked up to me and they're like the other sellers, they're like, you should raise your prices because you could sell
Exactly.
at a market like this.
Yeah.
And
Not at the bead
and
market,
not
though.
because they were competing, they were just like, hey, you could do that.
Yeah.
Um and so learned from that. I made enough to basically break even, which was better than nothing. So, but I still feel like I was or everything was so undervalued for
Yeah.
what I was selling it for. So,
Yeah.
learned from that, and then let's see, I won something on the lottery today. I only put in
Ooh.
2 entries, one for my wife, one for me. And my
Yeah.
wife's name was called, and we got a bottle of E.H. Taylor rye, straight rye.
Nice.
And so I was like, should I give this bottle to Brian? But then I looked and we have like a shared spreadsheet where the bottles we own and bottles we have open. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, he's already got one. So I have
I
something
did
else
just
like
get
that.
one. Yeah. Not
Oh,
too
that's
long ago at
cool.
all, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But have you ever had one before?
oh yeah, yeah.
I know
Mhm.
you've had it before, but have you ever had a bottle of EH Taylor Rye
Yes.
before?
Mhm.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
I forget where I got it. I think, yeah, I can't tell you where, but I remember having a bottle for a while. In fact, I still have the empty
Ah,
because
now you can get rid of that.
yeah,
I'm not a
exactly.
big empty keeper. I don't know. You
I
are
am
though,
for
it seems
certain
like, yeah?
bottles.
Yeah.
Especially E.H. Taylor's special editions. Like
Oof.
I
Yeah,
won't I will
right.
never get rid of cured oak or seasoned wood. Um,
Yeah.
and then antique collection bottles I'll hold on to. But otherwise, it's like it really has to be a strong one-off. Like I only have one that's like not really special, but it is really special. It's a Willett Family Estate 7-year rye that
Ooh,
I got in 2015 that just absolutely rocked me. It could have been the best rye I've ever had. Like, it was so
nice.
good.
Until today.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out. But, yeah, otherwise, let me think. Like, yeah, work's been good. I'm looking forward to Christmas, and we'll talk about Christmas in a moment before we get to the history, but really looking forward to spending time with family, trekking out. We're going to Colorado for
Ooh,
Christmas, my wife and I
nice.
and kids, of course.
Family's there, yeah.
And yeah, my parents live there these days, and but I'm excited. It'll be nice to kind of split the love. Some of them, actually, no, everyone's met my daughter, my second daughter. Now that I think about it, but it'll still be nice for to like have fun with everyone. Send the baby around, and Beck is really just learning now like what Christmas is, and like can understand that it's not normal. Like Christmas is not your average day. Presents are cool.
Mhm.
Presents are special on a day like this, and so I love that because, like I said, I'm always a gifts guy, and I'm gonna love her opening presents on Christmas morning and just being like, I get another one, and like
Yeah,
instead of
right.
just being like not sure what's going on because she's old enough now to figure out kind of what's going on. So
Yeah, for
yeah, it
sure.
should be good. And then I'll eat some good food. Did I tell you I was dieting? Have I told you that?
Yeah, I think last time we had a normal
Salads.
episode, you said you were hitting
Yeah.
high scores, yeah.
I've lost 12 pounds in
Ooh,
4 weeks, which is
dang.
really good for a diet.
You lost like 5 the first week, didn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, just kind of kept up 2 or 3 pounds a week from there. And
Yeah.
um,
It
so
can't be
yeah.
all salads
Mm.
though. Did you do like a big like cutout soda kind of thing or something?
Well, yeah, everything that's like strong sugar, sugar or carbs, I really reduced.
Ooh, carbs. Yeah, those are my
And
favorite.
dude, they're the best. I used to make a lot of sourdough bread,
Yeah.
and so I can't make them right now, even though I'm keeping the starter going, of course. But stuff like that, just cutting back on quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I put on so much weight from like Halloween time where there was like candy all over the place, and I would literally eat like 10 mini-sized candies and just be
Oh
like,
my
I'm not even full
gosh.
yet. So, but it's been good. Yeah, like 12 pounds. I might make my goal weight by Christmas.
Nice.
That's cool because I generally lack self-discipline. No, I can't say that. I actually have decent self-discipline. Self-control, on the other hand, in moments where you're like, hey, I could probably finish that, jar of candy right now.
Right.
That's a
Right.
different story.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And yeah.
So
Oh, also today
today,
we both scored a big
yeah,
bottle.
literally what I was about to say.
Yeah. So yeah, tell about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I'll
today,
the
Found
follow-up.
North dropped their Peregrine
Mm-hmm.
release. Their first flight.
20-year
Yeah,
minimum.
it sounds like it's going to be a new series of
Mm-hmm.
bottles where it's the first in a series where it's
Yeah.
age stated. It got a big old gold foil 20 on the front.
Looks
Got a
cool.
sweet bird with its wings open on the front. So
Mm-hmm.
Google Found North Peregrine,
Yeah.
Peregrine. Yeah,
Yep.
Peregrine.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's so I was waiting. I was there. I was ready. It was
Mm-hmm. I
the
was too.
the news ahead of time was that today it was going to become available at noon my time, noon
Mm-hmm.
Arizona time, and so like 2 Eastern. So I'm ready. I got my email up, and for when the
Mm-hmm.
marketing email comes in, I've got web pages from Shared Pour up. I've got
Mm-hmm.
like the Found North collection up, which is a little weird. It didn't have Found North 8 in there. You had to get to Found
Mm-hmm.
North 8 in a weird backwards way, but that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. I had that up. I had their main whiskey bottles page up. I had a couple different web pages up where I had put in my own custom URLs, just trying to guess what
Yeah.
their
Mm-hmm.
URL name for Peregrine was going to be, so that I could
Yeah.
just refresh those and see if a page goes live at any particular time. So 11:59 rolls around, 1 minute before, and I refresh the Found North webpage just to see, like, okay, 1 minute to go, anything
Yeah.
changed? And sure enough, boom, 1 minute early, the Found North webpage had the big buy now button ready to go. So I
Nice.
clicked on that, and it took me through the process, but there
Mm-hmm.
was sales tax, and I happen to know that Shared Pour doesn't have sales tax. I don't know if it's because I'm in Arizona or what, but at least Shared Pour for
I think
me
it was because I
doesn't have
paid sales tax. Yeah.
from Shared Pour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think.
So
Yeah. But anyway.
anyway, I was like, well, okay, it's an extra $10 and this guarantees I
Mm-hmm.
get it. So done, bought it. And then and I pulled my phone out real quick and I'm like, Cole, it's available on
And I had, yeah.
through
By the
their
time,
main website.
by the time you had texted me, I was already in the process. And you were done within a minute of after the hour.
Yeah.
When you texted me.
Yeah. And I actually sat on it for about 30 or 45 seconds because I was like,
Oh,
I really
really?
want to buy it through Shared Pour because there's no
That's funny.
sales tax. If I had waited, I think maybe
Another
15,
20
20 more
seconds.
seconds,
Yeah.
it would have been
Mm-hmm.
out.
By the time I had clicked on it, it said it's available, add to cart, checkout, put in your credit card information, which, was from Chrome, just set it up really quick. It was so quick that I put everything in, press go, and it said it's already sold out.
Yeah. And sure
So,
enough, for real, it was 12:01. I refreshed the
mhm,
webpage and it said out of stock.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And so you had told me, and if without you, I wouldn't have done it, but you had told me that Shared Pour will probably do it as well. And so I kept refreshing and looking around Shared Pour and I couldn't find it. And then I'm like, well, why don't I? And I searched Peregrine and nothing showed up. And then like 2 minutes later, I searched Peregrine and there it is. And it wasn't advertised on their front page. It wasn't on you couldn't like find it. It
Wasn't on
wasn't
the
under a
collection
URL that was
page.
like Peregrine or anything like that. And
Yep. The
the only
URL
way you
was
could find it was by searching it
yeah,
at the time.
the URL was
And
literally
copy
like
of batch 8 or something.
/copy of Found North batch 8.
That's
That was
right.
the URL for Peregrine. So like
Yeah.
here I was trying to be all smart and
Hmm.
just
And here
somebody
I
whoever
am just
created this
like
webpage.
lucky
Yeah,
as anything.
exactly.
And so yeah, I got on Shared Pour. So
Perfect.
I basically, to be safe, I didn't want to mess around at all. I know normally these websites can ship to Colorado. So I just put in my parents' address in Colorado and I'll pick it up at Christmas. But I also did reach out. I'm like, hey, just in case, if you do ship to Virginia, maybe we can change
Nice.
that address, but they haven't reached back out yet. So, but
Yeah. Cool.
we'll figure it out. Even if not, I'll get it by Christmas. So
Nice. And looking forward to that. And I also grabbed Found North had a couple single barrels through
yeah,
Reddit.
I saw that. Mhm.
Yeah, through Reddit's barrel pick program run by this guy. Goes by the name of Take. At least I say Take. I don't know how anybody else says it, but it's
T8KE. Yeah.
T8KE. Anyway, he did a couple blends with Nick, and there was like 200 bottles in one blend and like 600 bottles in the other blend.
Goodness.
And the one with like 200 bottles sounds a lot like batch 8. Yeah,
Nice.
notes some like deep red fruity notes, but mostly
Nice.
really earthy tobacco stuff going on. So I was definitely getting that one. And then when it came down to it, I was like, well, hell, if I'm getting that one, I may as well try the other one too. So I went ahead and grabbed both of those.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been saving money, and I actually had a lot, especially from Etsy sales. But I'm just like, if these kind of days keep going, because I also bought the E.H. Taylor Rye, which isn't that much. It's only like $80. But I was like, since there were no drops in Virginia, and there haven't been for like pretty much a month or two. But they say they're still going to do it. But there's literally one drop in the last month and a half. And none were near me of that one drop. That being said, I've been saving a lot of money because I'm not throwing down 100 or 200 every week or two.
Right.
And so, but I was like, oh, I'm going to run out of money if I keep getting these things happen. So, but either way,
Yeah, I know.
I look forward to a Peregrine episode.
So hard to say no to Found North drops, but they're like $200.
Yeah. And it's going to be good though.
But
20 to 27. Yeah.
Yeah. It lines right up too. I mean, they say generally $10 a year, and it was 20-year stated, and it's $200 whiskey. The batch 8 is 18-year whiskey, and it's actually $160. So a little on the value side of $10 per year kind of thing. So if age stated whiskey is your thing, then the value's there at least.
And they're technically not available online anymore, but if you find them at a retail place, good luck. I mean, I would recommend probably picking one up. Yeah. And so, I think that's pretty good. So, what do you say we take a break? We'll go back into some notes, and then we'll get to the history. Sounds good to you? Yep. All right. We'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back. This is exciting. So I have a few notes to get to before we get to the history. I wrote out a good few. We sent out the matches for Secret Santa this week, and I'm excited for how it's going to go. I can tell there's actually a lot of excitement for those Patreon people who signed up. Maybe if this goes so well, which I have a feeling it will, we'll open it up to non-Patreon members next year. So we'll see how that goes. But don't forget, Christmas is coming. And this is the last warning on the podcast, because next week we're actually recording. Yeah, whatever it is. This is the last warning we're going to give for people that are interested in gifting as well as potentially winning some bottles. For those who have been part of the Chill Filter community for a while now, know what that means. Gifts are fun. And if you send either Brian or myself or both, you're entered into random drawings like get a bottle of Nika from the barrel or Weller Antique 107. The person who sends the best gift wins a bottle too. For me, that's Blanton's Gold. And for Brian, that's Ode to Isla Batch 1. Last year, our listeners absolutely brought it, and we had so much fun. This year, I'm hoping it's no different. And we need, though, your gifts delivered by December 18th, no later than December 18th. Hit us up if you need our addresses or if you have any questions this year. So Instagram or chillfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. We do have one more interview episode for the year, and we decided to air it next episode before the Christmas episode. Normally we'll do the Chili's Awards after the Christmas episode. So, but interview is with the founder of a company called The Fifth Note. And we'll be drinking a blended scotch that was blended by a guy named Jim Murray. Did you know Jim Murray? Do you know who that is?
I know the name. I definitely know the name, but I don't know history.
So he is the guy who wrote like the Whiskey Bible, the yearly Whiskey Bible, and who was canceled recently because he basically called whiskey sexy and that he'd take them home and treat them right or something like that.
Yikes.
Sucks that he got canceled, but it reminds me of the good old song. I don't know who wrote the song. I forget who it is. It's like some rap song or something like that, or some hip hop something. But it's like, Try to find the words to describe this whiskey without being disrespectful. So anyway, that's a song that Jim Murray should have listened to. But either way, we're gonna drink a blend that he put together, and I'm a fan of giving people second chances. I don't know if the world's gonna agree with me, but in this case, I would love to try Jim Murray's blended Scotch next week. So we're actually bringing on a guy named Carl Schoen, I believe. And so he is the owner of the company that helped Jim Murray blend this Scotch. And he's got other stuff as well. And apparently he's a young guy. I have a feeling we'll have fun with him.
Nice.
So that's the notes to get to this week. Let's get into some history of what we're drinking today. I don't think we mentioned what we're drinking.
Haven't even mentioned. And we haven't talked about entry buzzes either.
That's true. First of all, what are you entry buzzing on?
I am entry buzzing on. Did you see the cat go up back there?
I did. Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. YouTube listeners.
Hopefully we'll get a show. Oh, wow. Keep going across the bridge.
She's going around. She's going around. Yeah, look at that. She's going to go take a nap now, though. So anyway, I am entry buzzing on a very interesting newish acquisition.
Ooh.
Old Carter Rye.
No way. How do you even find Old Carter?
So I did a trade for this one. The only way for me to find Old Carter is to get it from somebody not in Arizona. Yeah.
It's like King of Kentucky or like Old Carter. It's like I don't even know where you find them. Like besides
I know. Yeah, right. Do they even exist in stores? Yeah.
Seriously.
But anyway, I did a trade for this. I don't remember what I traded, but I mean value on this is around 200, 250. So I mean, you could trade a Weller Full Proof or something like that for that if you were so fortunate to have found something like that. Yeah. But anyway, I knew I wanted to drink a big name rye, rye that people hold in high regard because of what we're drinking today, which I'll let you introduce after you tell me what you're drinking.
Yeah. Well, is it good? First of all, the Old Carter.
It is good. I expected. I just expected the thickest mouthfeel I've ever had because I've had Old Carter bourbon and it was thick. It was strong, intense. It was amazing. But this rye is surprisingly a little more on the delicate side than I expected. It is very, very good. I'm not at all saying it's bad. There's just an expectations thing here where it's got some nice like caramel to it, which is a little interesting for a rye. Not a lot of ryes have that kind of deep caramel characteristic. So a little caramel, but more on the like herbal and lighter side. Intensity is maybe like 6 or 7 out of 10, whereas I expected like 9 out of 10.
Yeah. No, it's great. As you might have seen, I am drinking Wilderness Trail Bottled and Bond rye because I wanted a rye that was like just good. And that is what Wilderness Trail puts out. I've never had a bad Wilderness Trail. And
Wilderness Trail is my favorite. It's hard to call them small time anymore now that they got bought out by Campari. Yeah, Campari.
I didn't know that. I did know that. Yeah.
Totally. They paid a lot for them too. I don't remember what it was, but it was surprising.
Good for them.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm sure they're keeping up their fermentation stuff on the side now that they've sold the business. So
yeah. But Campari is also who owns Wild Turkey, I'm pretty sure.
Wild Turkey.
And they are just destroying the value. I mean, like the next Master's Keep is like $500, I think I heard.
True.
That might just be a rumor.
The Russell's certain things that are like like $300 to $500. Yeah.
Russell's single Rick was like 300 or 350. Like they're just.
We'll see what the 15 year is going to be.
Yeah. So anyway, I really hope they don't do that to Wilderness Trail because I'm a big Wilderness Trail homer, and I've gone out of my way to get the special Wilderness Trail releases too, like the 6 years and the 8 years. Yeah.
You're the one that gave us the older one, the 6-year rye or whatever.
Yeah, and I have the wheated and the high rye bourbon in the 8-year format too now.
Their wheated bourbon is so good.
Yep, and I've heard great things. I haven't opened the 8-year high or the 8-year wheated yet, but I'm pretty excited too. Yeah,
that's cool. So let's talk about what we're drinking today. We are drinking Parker's Heritage, specifically the 17th edition, 2023 release.
It's so dark in your hand there.
It is, with the light behind it. Yeah, look at that.
Jeez.
So we'll talk about what makes it special. Surprisingly, this isn't our first, or this is our first rather, Parker's Heritage we've ever done on the podcast. I guess it's not too surprising. It is a hard collection to get your hands on. almost the status of something like Old Forester Birthday Bourbon or even some antique collection bottles. The brand is super special and different from both of those other releases, though, and we'll get into that. But let's talk Parker's Heritage history. So Parker's Heritage has been a thing for a while. In fact, this is the 17th edition in 2023. It started in 2007 to honor a man named Parker Beam. And we've talked about the Beams before on the podcast, plenty. A legendary family that goes back hundreds of years in the U.S. Jim Beam is a big deal in this country, and he's one of the patriarchs of the Beam dynasty. But not all Beams worked for the Jim Beam distillery. We've talked about people like Elmo Beam, who worked for Fort Roses, or Seagram's, I believe, at the time. But in fact, most of the Beam legacy these days regarding the distillery is in the Noe family, Noe, related to Beams by marriage. But we're not talking about the James Beam Distilling Company today. We're talking about Heaven Hill. And we're talking about a guy named Parker Beam, whose great grandfather was a guy named Park Beam, P-A-R-K Beam, brother of Jim Beam, who was at that point already a 6th generation distiller. So it's a big deal. Yeah, at that point, by the time Jim Beam was around, he was a 6th generation distiller.
Wow.
Parker started his career at Heaven Hill Distillery in 1960. And became master distiller in 1975, having the reins handed to him by his father, Earl Beam, who was the master distiller. He's behind brands like Evan Williams, Elijah Craig, Rittenhouse Rye, and more. He was an absolute legend, just master distiller for pretty much 40 years. And he was forced into like a semi-retirement soon before his death in 2017. He died after a long battle with ALS. But 10 years before that, before 2017, in 2007, Heaven Hill announced a special release collection called Parker's Heritage, a yearly release bottling to honor Parker Beam. And what makes Parker's Heritage different than other collections like Buffalo Trace Antique Collection or Old Forester Birthday Bourbon is that, unlike those, Parker's Heritage is extremely experimental. Every batch is extremely different. And I'm not just talking about proof or age like we might see with BTAC or Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. Every release is often a completely different whiskey altogether and a different goal altogether. The first release in 2007 was actually a few releases, all cask strength bourbons, about 5 batches, ranging from 121.4 proof to 129.6 proof. The second release, get this, the second release was a 27-year-old bourbon, which is crazy. That was in 2008. Other famous releases, I don't, but it's probably easy to find.
I'll Google it while you keep going.
Yeah. The other famous releases were in 2013, there was something called Parker's Heritage Promise of Hope. It was a 96 proof 10-year bourbon that was apparently fantastic. It's very hard to find even then. In 2014, they introduced their first non-bourbon. It was a wheat whiskey. And in 2015, they did a malt whiskey. Next year, 2016, they did a 24-year-old bourbon. In 2019, they released their first rye, and it was a 8-year heavy char rye. Last year was a double barrel blend of bourbons at 132.2 proof. And this year is a 10-year cask strength rye. So let's get into what we're drinking today. Did you figure it out?
I did. The 27-year bourbon was 96 proof.
Okay.
So yeah, not too high, understandably, but not too high. And I did also search for the 24-year bourbon, which was 100 proof. 100 on the dot.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's good to know. I wonder what like Old Blowhard was proof. What do we got? 90.7 proof. And that's what is it? Orphan barrel for you.
Orphan barrel.
They might have old stuff,
that.
never like super high proof usually.
Yeah.
So anyway, Parker's Heritage 10-year rye cask strength, 17th edition, pulled from only 142 barrels and a low rye whiskey mash bill, 51% rye, so the minimum there, 35% corn, and 14% malted barley. The proof is 128.8. And like I said, it's a 10-year, but this is actually a huge deal for Heaven Hill, as it is its longest aged rye in their whole portfolio that they've done. So this is very special. Non-chill filtered. Hey, that's not the name of the podcast.
Boo.
I got this at retail at 185, but do you know what this might be running on the secondary? Maybe 300.
Yeah, it's 400 locals.
Hold up,
so maybe.
Brian, you're muted.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, let me write that down. 3540 issue.
So you can't hear me at all, eh? It's might be your earbuds.
Maybe it's me. Yeah, maybe it's me. But I didn't hear anything. Let me do a test. Settings.
Test. Blah 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 blah.
Audio.
Blah blah.
Yeah, it's probably me.
Blah blah blah.
Let me put these back and put them back in.
Yeah.
All right. Can you say something?
Test. Yo.
Huh.
Yo. Test. Hi. Testing. Hi.
Let's see.
Let me go into.
It says it's connected.
Settings.
Let
Audio.
me try something again.
Mic. Yeah.
Audio.
Okay. It's definitely you.
Test.
Blah 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 blah
Let me
blah.
play music for a second. Let me play a music. Chris, is that a weed? I'm calling the cops. As I'm typing in youtubes.com. Let's do oh, it's preventing me from playing this. Why that? Here, let me man, what's going on? Let me see. Maybe it's like say something now.
Something now. I am saying something now. Hello.
It must have hooked up to my phone. Okay, so let's pick up. Do you know where we left off?
Yeah, you had basically you had said, Brian, do you know what the value of this is? And it was like chop. That'd be an
okay, cool.
chop.
Okay. Do you know what the value of this is?
Yeah. Okay. Here I go. All right.
Let me do it.
Yeah, on local, it's like 400 or so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 400, maybe like 425 national.
Nice. I'm excited. Let's drink.
This is maybe top whiskey of the year that I've been excited to try. Oh yeah.
Well, if the cork pop shows anything about how good the whiskey is, it'll be the lamest cork pop of the year.
Maybe it's just modest. It's just
that's
it's
it.
So good. It doesn't need to be so rambunctious about the cork pop. But yeah, I'm as I've probably said a million times, I'm a big rye guy. And this has been one of the top ryes of the year from what I've heard. So I've
seen really good reviews.
Yeah. Speaking of really good reviews, man, Fred Minnick had really good things to say about Elisha Craig's C923. Did you hear that?
Oh, really? No, but I got to get me a bottle.
Yeah.
Since they changed the bottling, or at least the bottles of Elijah Craig barrel proof, I haven't ever been like, oh, this is my Elijah Craig barrel proof right here. So maybe this will change it if I try that one. So
I did a little tasting. Somehow there was a store that had some C920s laying around about a year and a half ago. So I grabbed a C920 just because it was older than anything else I ever had. And apparently C920 is one of the better batches. Cool. I did some blinds, and C920 definitely wins for having more sweetness and less
than
burn.
C923.
It even beat C923 for me. So I do like C920 more than C923.
I have some batches, some closed batches. I guess I probably have them in our database. But I have a few that are from 2018. Or I have one that's from 2018. I think the other one's from 2021.
Dang.
And the thing is that I just don't want to open it because it's like so old now. Let me look.
Nah, you gotta open it. Gotta do it.
Yeah,
What
no,
else
that's
are
the
you gonna
thing.
do with
I
it?
gotta find a well. What I might do, I'm not one to like that kind of bottle. I'm not gonna like sell or trade or anything. But I
Right.
feel like if I wait a few more years, opening that at like a bottle share will be pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like a 6-year-old, especially a dated bottle.
You're totally right. It will only get cooler as it
Hmm.
gets older. But
Yeah,
even now, I mean, even now,
yeah, it's
it
already
was 5 years
5+
ago.
years old. Yeah,
So even if you had a bottle share now with people who would
dusty.
appreciate it,
Yeah.
you say dusty on the nose.
No, just
Oh,
like
that's
basically
a
a
dusty.
5-year-old bourbon is
I'm with you.
dusty.
Yeah, yeah. But this
Um,
is the nose on this. I'm getting like
it's a
leather and like
mhm.
deep, rich cherry, like
Yeah,
almost like a
it's
chocolate covered cherry.
I wouldn't call this one like super bright on the nose. It's not a bad thing though. It's a you can smell like a depth of oak to it.
Yeah.
Um, there is something to this that is, um, yeah, this is not what I expected. I expected a little more candy on the nose. This isn't candy; it's more oak to me so far
Yeah.
on the nose only.
Yeah. I'm drinking out of my brand new Del Bac Glencairn here.
Nice. It's
So
not a
so
wee
I'm
Glencairn.
getting good nose notes now that I'm not getting
Nice.
my weird old Glencairn notes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um, this is I feel like when I was looking through it, I don't know what the char level is on this, John, but I have a feeling it's like sort of like a heavy char like the other one. And what I've heard is this is possibly older stock of the heavy char from 2019.
Ah, the heavy char from 2019 was a rye?
Yes.
Okay. Can
Mhm.
the one 2 years ago was an 8 year rye, and this one's a 10 year rye. Do we know
No, no,
if
no,
it's the
that was the
same?
heavy char.
Oh,
It
that
was
was
an
in
8-year heavy
2019.
char, right? Hmm.
Oh, I for
Yep.
some reason thought they. Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
There
I
was
am getting a little
uh-huh.
dill on the nose now, or not dill. I don't know, a little bit of rye spice,
Mhm.
funky herbal a little bit, but I do really like my chocolate covered cherry note on the nose.
What does that remind me of? Okay, so really interesting. Very sweet, especially on the finish. Really good. But this reminds me of a Booker's. Yes. Like a Booker's bourbon, not the Booker's rye, which is amazing. Have you ever had the Booker's rye?
Oh my God, you
Dude.
have had the Booker's rye?
Yeah, when I worked at that bar, they had it on the shelf and I was like, "Well, I got to know if I can recommend it." It was glorious. Yeah.
I'm sure. The did you well, now that we're on a tangent, the
Uh-huh.
special thing about that Booker's rye
Mhm.
that it was like literally the last thing that Freddie No ever distilled or something like that.
No, that's so
Or
cool.
there's something very, very special about that. Like it's the only rye he ever distilled, or it's the last
Wow.
one, or
Yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
was something very like
So we'll
sentimental
probably
about
not get
that.
another Booker's Rye.
I
Well,
don't
they
think
probably
so.
will, knowing Jim Beam, but it won't be as special.
So this finish is still going. We've been talking this whole
Yeah.
time, and
Are
I
you are you seeing what I'm saying though about the Bookers?
yeah,
Okay.
there's a bourbony. The heaviness of this is
Yeah.
bourbony. It's
Uh-huh. I'm getting
it
slight
punches like a bourbon.
peanutty,
Yeah,
very oaky, but not in a bad way oaky. Like I usually am very sensitive to oak, but this is it's good though. Like that
yeah,
note that I'm mentioning is still good. And this is unlike most ryes that I've had. I was very much expecting a hard candy brightness. This is not that, but it's still good.
yeah. I really like it, and yeah, it is a little dill on the nose, but like a normal rye kind of dill, a rye that's going to be a little herbal, but that it's got so much like bourbon
Had
weight
this
to it
before.
too.
Hmm.
And I am getting a little cherries, like a
Yeah, 100%.
dessert cherries, like a
Hmm.
decadent cherries on the
Yeah.
palate.
I've had this before. Not like legitimately, but I've tasted something just like this is so reminiscent of other whiskey, or at least one other whiskey that I've had.
Yeah.
Um, and the
You're trying to
closest I
put
can
your
get
finger
to
on
it
it?
is a Booker's. There is slightest of peanutty notes. It's like as if Booker's made a rye that was 51% rye and then did everything else like they normally do Booker's. That's what I'm getting from this.
I get that peanut. Totally, I get that peanut, but I get it like immediately. It's like first 3 seconds of the palate, and then it starts to kind of fade away.
Yes,
That
I
peanut
agree with that.
there, like right
Yeah,
away.
and then the finish is like really nice and sweet.
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit of rye spice, but more sweet
Mm-hmm.
than anything on that finish, and it lasts so long,
Mm-hmm.
so long.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna double down on that note for those listeners who are wondering if I'm unsure. This is the rye equivalent of Booker's, which is a good thing. It's actually better than normal Booker's. Like I would say, any good Booker's, this is better than for the most part. I haven't had pigskin batch, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I hear people talk about that one. Yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Charlie's this past Charlie's one was pretty good, but
Uh-huh.
I don't
Oh,
know.
good.
Don't know if it was pigskin worthy, but wait,
Yeah.
was Charlie's the drink along or was that something else?
No, the drink
Pink.
along was Pinkies.
Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, this is really good.
Yeah. I think I might take one more sip and then go water.
I'm a little not worried. I am like a little bummed because I was kind of hoping for a hard candy beast.
Yeah. This
And
is
I
not a
love
hard
hard
candy
candy
beast.
rides. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
more of like a
It's also not MGP,
yeah, true,
which
true,
is
true.
kind of king of hard candy notes to me at
Yeah.
least.
I'm with you, especially that 95.5. I mean, heck, even what was it, Del Bac, their first batch of Sentinel was like hard candy. It was only like what,
Yeah.
2 years? Yeah.
I
So
think it was a little closer to 3, the first batch of
okay, cool.
Sentinel at least.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, it makes sense because that's what Mark told me after.
yeah.
And
Yeah. This I absolutely, without a doubt, can say if you see this at a bar for a price
oh, you
that
gotta
you're
try it.
willing to spend money on, it's worth your curiosity. If you
Totally.
already had curiosity about this and you see it at a bar and it's reasonably priced, this is a buy for sure because it is a super unique experience that you're
Oh,
not going to
that's for
get with
sure.
it. There's no other bourbon or rye we could recommend to sub in for this. This is
Yeah,
unique.
there's nothing. That's a really good point because, yeah, when I'm thinking about what this tastes like, I don't think of ryes at all. I think of bourbons and like decently aged and oaked bourbons too. Same kind of nose on the with the water pour.
Just added water.
A little bit more vapory, but everything
Yep.
else is mostly the same. It's
Okay.
nice oak. Sweetness is there. I have a good feel about this pour. Might open it up a bit.
Yeah. We've had a lot of high ratings lately. I'm a little
We have.
worried. It's like because I'm already starting to think about rating, and this is so solid all around and everything, but it's not quite. I can't just immediately say it's hub to what to me. It's
I
very,
agree.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually formulating my rating a little bit based on the neat pour, and I'm like, this didn't break 9 yet. So we'll
That's
get to
exactly what I
fully
was
rating
thinking.
now.
Yeah. Which is funny because I
Because
mean we've been
everyone's praising this too. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been all happy with our 9+ ratings lately,
Yeah.
but and then now for Parker's Heritage 10-year rye to come in sub
Yeah.
9 is a
Well, when
little
we
funny, but
drink Sazerac 18, followed by Found North Batch 8, followed by Ode to Isla, yeah, it's hard to go south of 9.
right, right.
Maybe we're just spoiled this time, and we're just like,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it is super unique though. If there was a
yeah,
uniqueness score, this would be
this would be
maybe
one of
5
the
out of
bigger
5
ones.
or 4.5 out of 5 or something.
Yeah.
I get what you mean about the nose though. I got a water added nose here and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically the same. I like now that my mind's on Booker's, all I can smell is Booker's. Like a
So I'm
lighter,
right.
like a lighter. slightly spicy Booker's on the
Yeah.
nose, at least. Yeah.
I just took excuse me. Just took a sip with the water. And it is better. No, it's about the same. Not the same notes, but about the same good level. I don't know which I like more, water or neat. But I will say the finish lasts a little longer with the neat pour.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
rolling in for me now.
Mhm.
I am getting more classic rye notes with water. I'm not getting when I was talking about how close it was to bourbon earlier, I'm getting less bookeriness
Mhm.
and more traditional rye stuff with water with a slightly shorter finish. I might
Yeah.
like the water a little more though, because it's like it's what I expected and it's what I wanted.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's less unique, I'll give it that though, with the water,
Yeah.
because it's more just like the rye you expected it to be. So
So after 2 or 3 sips with the water, I have decided I like the neat pour better. There's this weird um syntheticness to the finish with after a few sips. Not a terrible thing. I just prefer it neat. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, it's super unique.
Yeah, herbal
I have a
rye
feeling
with
ice is
water.
gonna kill it though. Like make it
Yeah,
terrible.
I know. I'm gonna do a tiny little pour for rice.
Yeah, you only got 2 ounces. I waited
Oh
in
yeah,
line for 5 hours for this bottle.
that is just what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what the full story was. This was not a lottery win. This was
No, this
a
was a wait in line win.
put in some effort.
Yeah. Luckily, it
But this
didn't.
was
I
one of
had a
the
friend
best
join
things to
me.
win that day, right?
Yes, especially at my location.
I say
The
win, but
only
earn.
other, yeah. The that day, I think there was. Yeah, this was one of the best of the
Yeah.
whole day. Yeah.
For me personally, I remember looking at the list thinking it was what I absolutely
Yeah. There
number
was
one would
one
want, but
other thing.
might have been
They at
some.
first they put up the list and Mr. Sam was on it, and I was like, throw down. I don't even like Mr. Sam, but a $250 bottle that's that's that crazy, I'd buy
Right.
that. I don't know if Mr. Sam's still 250 though. Back when batch one came out of Mr. Sam, I got 2 bottles.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
And you know how much that goes for now, right?
Oh, it's like $2,000 at least.
Yeah. Nowadays things are really cooling down now. Maybe
Uh
somebody
huh.
wouldn't be able to sell it for more than like 1750 or something now. People will try to list it for 2 grand, but nothing's
Yeah.
moving.
Do you know what the funny thing was? Is I was like wanting to
Couldn't give
trade
them
it so
away.
bad, couldn't give them away because no one knew the reputation yet.
Right.
And having 2 of them, I didn't even drink either of them. I traded both of them, but they were like hard to trade at the time.
How did you get them? Were they like you just
Lottery,
walked into a store and
ABC
they were just right
lottery.
there?
No, I signed up for the lottery, and me and my
Ah,
mother-in-law or something like that both won one. So
nice.
okay,
Nose
so
is
the
very sweet.
oakiness is weird.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
on the nose. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I am smelling really sweet oak. At first I was just thinking sweet, but now that you said oak, I'm like, yeah, sweet oak for sure. I got to drink this before it dilutes too much. So, uh-oh, big
I'm
shake of the
out.
head from Cole here.
It's not as bad as okay. The finish redeemed it a little bit. It's not my favorite.
It's all oak on the palate with ice.
Yeah,
It's all oak. It's not necessarily like over oaked. It's just all I'm tasting is oak.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't like it with ice. I would probably never drink it again with ice.
I definitely would never drink it again with ice, but it is not a displeasing flavor to me. It at least is.
Hmm.
It's just sweet oak. You're just
Yeah,
sucking on sweet wood. Oh god, that's
yeah,
gonna make it on the
yeah.
entrance to
Well,
the episode.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 54, 40.
Yep, yep, yep.
Sucking on that sweet oak. Or did you say wood?
I did say wood.
Yeah, that's even worse.
I could have put oak in, and maybe it wouldn't have hit so
Yeah.
suggestively. But oh well.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget this pour completely because it is not that great.
Yeah,
I
actually,
have a rating in mind though.
I'm almost there. The finish
Okay.
is bitter for sure. It's there's bitterness to the sweet oak on the finish with ice. Yeah, not that
I
that
don't even
needs any
know if
more
I can
discussing.
finish this pour right
Is
here.
that's all ice?
Yes.
Okay, well, pour it in a sample bottle, send it my way.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
It'd be worth it. Yeah, I didn't love that.
Yeah,
But the neat pour was the best for me. And it was pretty good. Okay.
got
I have a
one last
rating.
Glencairn. I'll pour a little
Okay.
neat here.
Now you're
I
good.
always kind of like to redo the favorite pour one last time again.
That's actually a good idea.
Hell, I'm gonna finish this. No sense in keeping one quarter of the sample
YOLO.
bottle. Yeah. For something I've been waiting to taste for 5 months or however long ago this came out, when I was really excited about it. It didn't quite live up. It didn't quite live up to what I wanted it to be, because I've waited so long to taste this. I mean, maybe I could have gone to some bar and tried it 3-4 months ago. I don't know, but I had built this up in my head so much that it's probably going to affect the score a little bit. It is very solid. There is nothing displeasing about the best pour of this at all.
I agree.
But it's just like it's like how I was with the old Carter. Man, maybe I picked a good entry buzz too. Because the old Carter, I for some reason had insane expectations for, and it just like hits like a super solid standard thing. Although, okay, I will say I do like the Parker's Heritage 10-year rye more than the old Carter rye, because there's more gravity, there's more intensity to it. There's way more flavor to it. It's more on the big and bold side than the delicate side.
Yeah, for sure. So, did you give it a score yet?
Nope, I was just rattling on. I was hoping you'd give a score while I take one less.
No, I'll give it a score. Yeah, I agree with you. This has flavor, and that's amazing. To get a rye with so much different flavor than normal. Like I said, I was expecting I don't know, heck, even what Wilderness Trail barrel proof rye. I was expecting something that was gonna just be a hard candy throughout, and this wasn't. Still good, like I said, better than most Bookers. I'm gonna give it an 8.75. I liked it. I thought it was great, but not much more than great. It's different, though, so I'll give it that.
It is different. It is unique. I just was finding any reason why I might want to bring it up to 9.0 territory, and I just can't. So it will remain at 8.9 for me.
I like it.
It is just below 9. If I didn't even know what this was, it might have hit me better. My expectations might be getting in the way a little bit, because it is fantastic all around, but it's not
blowing your mind.
It's not hubba to what. Yeah, right. Just the best word for it. Hubba to what. It does not quite reach hubba to what status. So it is 8. A
little bit of a subba to what.
Subba to what? Yeah, that's right. It is 8.99 repeating. Yeah.
Okay. So it is equivalent to 9.
No. No.
Then change your answer, because I will put together a mathematical proof of how they are the same number.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, 8.9, fine.
Okay, cool. No, that's good. All right. Now that we've talked about ratings, maybe buy yourself a bottle. Maybe try it at a bar first.
Oh, well, to be clear, I would 100% pay $185 for this.
Okay.
I would definitely pay $185 for this. I'd definitely pay $200 for it, because some store in Phoenix is always a little more expensive. They round up. I'd pay $200 for this, but I would not pay $400 for this. 400 is the
Yeah.
same as E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. I think I'd rather have E.H. Taylor Barrel
Easily
Proof
H. Taylor
instead of
Barrel,
this.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. If it didn't have the clout that Parker's Heritage has, I would not pay 180 for this. I would pay 80 for this. But the fact that it is eye candy on the shelf helps me pick this for 180. And I mean, like when people come over, they'll be like, "Oh, you have a Parker's Heritage?" I'll be like, "17th edition, baby." And then they'll be like, "Can I try it?" I'll be like, "Heck yeah!" So
Yeah,
that's kind of where
absolutely.
I feel like,
Love to share. Yeah.
yeah, this is a very good shareable high clout bottle. So now that we've talked about that, I think it's time for our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Now it is time for Whiskey World News. Today's article is titled Understanding Hungarian Oak.
Ooh.
Yeah, in honor of Found North releasing their Peregrine bottle today. We all know Found North loves Hungarian Oak. So I wanted to read this article called Understanding Hungarian Oak, written by someone named Sebastian Giraldo. Giraldo from a website called tastehungary.com.
Ooh.
Tastehungary.com. I'm pretty sure this is an old article. I'm pretty sure this is from years ago, but as we discussed previously, science is timeless, and we are going to be discussing how sweet Hungarian oak is today. So, paraphrasing from the article, it's no longer a secret that Hungary is a great wine producing country, but it is not widely known that Hungary is also a big producer of high quality oak barrels. Hungarian oak has been used for making wine barrels for centuries, but wineries have only been emphasizing it as an important feature of their wines for the past few years. They say that Hungarian oak barrels give a different taste profile than American or French ones, and Hungarian oak is used in California, South Africa, Italy, and even France. Barrels made with European oak are usually more expensive than those made with American wood. The difference in price is due to the percentage of usable wood, of which European oak has less. European oak has to be wedge split along its grain, while American oak can be split using a saw. This means that only 20 to 25% of European oak can be used for barrel making, whereas 50% of an American oak can be used. So twice as much usable wood out of an American tree than European. Trees that come from cooler climates have a finer grain than those grown in warmer ones. A finer grain allows less oxygen contact and usually means a subtle, more elegant oak influence. And that's with the finer grain. Hungary has 2 oak forests where most of the raw material for barrel making comes from, Mexik and Zemplén. The Mexik forest is in southern Hungary, surrounding the Szekszárd and Villany red wine making regions. It has fertile soil and a warmer climate than Zemplén. It is planted with both Quercus robur and Quercus patria. The barrels made with oak from this forest usually give sweeter notes and a lighter flavor influence than those from the Zemplén forest. But now the Zemplén forest usually gives the best oak for barrel making. So the Zemplén Hills surround the Tokaj region. So, and I've seen this word around a lot. The Penelope had a Tokaj cask, and I did look up the pronunciation of this. I used to always say Tokaj, but it's Tokaj, and it is apparently pronounced Tokaj. So the Zemplén Hills surround the Tokaj region in northeastern Hungary, which has rocky volcanic soil. The climate is colder, winters are longer, and the average altitude is higher than the Mexik forest. This makes the trees grow slower, creating a tight grain, which is the secret of success, which allows wines and whiskey to mature slowly and longer in the barrel without being overly oxidized. Of the oak in the Zemplén forest, 95% is Quercus patria. It is believed that barrels made of Zemplén Quercus patria give wines silkier tannins in comparison to barrels from the same type of oak in, say, a French forest. So What do you think of that Hungarian Oak and the Found North barrels?
I actually thought like when Nick was talking, I just assumed that it was like just fresh Hungarian oak. Do you think it was finished, like, or at least used Hungarian oak? I imagine
Oh, that's a good
it's like
question.
wine.
Yeah, I don't know. And actually, now
Yeah,
that you mention it, for Found North, for their well, no. It was finished in Hungarian oak, but I guess I don't know if they were reused barrels. Yeah,
yeah. We should ask Nick.
that is a good
But
question.
all that to say, I'm a fan of the Quercus alba, the white oak, the oak that aged such things like Eagle Rare 17,
Ooh.
George T. Stagg, Parker's Heritage, and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, I would really need to like hone in on it. The thing about Found North is that there's a lot of barrels in play. And do I think I could hone in on what Hungarian oak tastes like? Nah, I don't think so. Not with like 20 plus or 18 plus year whiskey. And a mixture and blend of certain barrels. That being said, though, I would love to hone in on it. I have honed in on things like French oak before, um, but something's telling me that I don't really know what Hungarian oak even tastes like yet, or like what it presents
So
well
the
from.
the impression that I get from this is that with the tighter grain causes
Hmm.
less oxidation,
Hmm. Yep. Hmm.
oxidization. We all
No
know what I'm talking
oxidation.
about.
Yeah.
Oxidation. We so it's more of a flavor that's supposed to soften the edges rather than be
Hmm.
something to be distinguishable on its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I think it like if done right, Hungarian oak is supposed to give you a nice sweet oaky flavor that wouldn't
Hmm.
cause something to be over oaked like we all
Yeah.
know you hate. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and it's
I'd be
expensive.
down.
So in
Yeah.
order to go the extra mile and get an oak that allows your product to sit in it for longer and not become overly oxidized, you have to pay, I don't know, probably twice as much for it because there's only half as much usable wood in each
Yeah.
European cold climate
That's a
tree
good
than there
point too.
is
That's
in
something I had learned from that article was that American oak you can basically just split and like make it work.
America.
Or rather the other way, you can cut it and make it work. The other one was you have to split it along the
Yeah.
grain. But no, that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
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 Any thoughts yourself beyond what you said?
I dig it. I dig how Found North uses it. I think, you know, if I'm picking up on it correctly,
Uh-huh.
it's softening all the hard edges. It's making a nice silky, smooth flavor, rounding
Hmm.
it out with a sweet wood flavor that's not itself overly
Yeah.
pronounced and not overly oxidized. And it allows for you to say age product up to 20 years or many
Yeah.
more years and an older product without making it become overly oxidized. So
I like that. Yeah.
sounds good to me.
Do we have last week's or the following or the week's
Oh
results of
yeah, it's been a while. If I
yeah.
can figure out Instagram, I definitely can. But I'll tell you what I can do.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking to I what I can't figure out is people's responses for the BTAC bottling of mash bill number 2.
We'll skip it.
There, well, I will say the vote though.
Uh-huh.
The vote for what would you name a BTAC bottling of mash bill number 2? It
Uh-huh.
was between Albert Bacon Blanton and
Albert
Freddie
Bacon Blunt.
Thumbs Up Johnson. Freddie
Nice.
Johnson won. Freddie Johnson came out
Really?
ahead with a 60-40 vote
He
for good old
did.
Freddie Thumbs Up Johnson for a BTAC bottling.
But I blame your wife voted.
She did. You
So
noticed?
yeah. Hmm.
Believe it or not, I didn't ask her to. I swear. I swear I
And
didn't.
so we had someone that voted that works at Sazerac, and she said
Yeah.
Freddie Johnson.
The PR manager from Sazerac
Yeah.
voted Freddie
Uh-huh.
Johnson.
I was like, good for
So,
her. Yeah.
so
Maybe she
boom.
knows. Maybe she's got some inside scoop.
Yeah, boom shakalaka on that one. Yeah.
Seriously. So, and the last 7 votes went your direction. I might
Oh
have
yeah.
won. Yeah, I probably would have won if it hadn't been for
That's
cutting
funny.
off the time. Yeah.
Had to call in the reinforcements towards the end
Yeah,
there.
seriously. That's what happened.
But the most previous question that we sent out to listeners was, what whiskey did you drink on Thanksgiving? So we got a couple answers in. Got a answer in from Bry Rep, which is me.
Heyo.
I opened the George T. Stag. Well, I didn't open it, but I had a little more of the George T. Stag, and my mom sipped it too. I handed it to her, and she's not at all. She doesn't have anything to do with alcohol, but I handed it to her, and she's a little hard of hearing, and I was like, here, smell this, sniff it. And she didn't hear me say smell it, sniff it.
She's like, wow.
So she sipped it, and she was like a dragon, like whoa, like you could see the fire coming out of her mouth.
That's
and
funny.
Like, my mouth is on fire. And I was like, well,
if you had listened, Sharon or whatever.
Sharon, no. All right, so Dramhound hit us up. Dramhound said, typically I go the cliche route and I drink wild turkey, but this year it was Wilcott and Buffalo Trace. Yeah. Marco Naz said wild turkey rare breed. Whiskey drinking panda said Taluna 2023 Old Saints Keep. You ever heard of that? That's new
fancy.
To me.
No,
I know. Taluna.
Paul
Clarkson wrote in and said Russell's Reserve store pick.
Good choice.
And Kilted 518 says Miles Ferguson says Old Forester 100 Rye while I was smoking the turkey.
He's good at smoking those butts. You know what I'm saying, Miles? So, yeah. Anyway, if it's a turkey butt or a pork butt.
Oh, sure. Okay, fine. Yeah. Clarify that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Rolling into this week's, what whiskey would you choose, though? You ready for this?
Yeah, I am ready. Once you hold off for a moment. Okay, so yeah, mine is so mine could be described in multiple ways. But basically, what is a bottle that you will always prep to have on your shelf? Meaning that if you're running low on this bottle, you're going to seek out to buy a new one before it's even done, or like right after you finish it, you're going to go buy a bottle. There's got to be at least one on your shelf that is that bottle that's somewhat available, but that you always want to have on your shelf. So,
yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
So I was going to say Found North Batch 8. But you clarified a little bit.
You can't really buy that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You gotta always have it on your shelf. I'm not always going to be able to find Found North Batch 8 because I did legitimately turn around and buy another Found North Batch 8 once I figured out how good it was. And I've been sharing it with so many people. I took it to a fire pit thing last night with some friends.
Nice.
My Found North Batch 8 only has like a third left.
Good for you. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
But anyway, so since I can't always find Found North Batch 8, what I will say is Knob Creek 12.
Okay.
Knob Creek was one of my first loves in whiskey. It had that peanut flavor that I honed in on that I love a lot. And that 12-year age statement just makes it so smooth, so sweet. So every time I run out of a Knob Creek 12, I always go buy another one.
I like that. So myself, I'm gonna go with the old trusty here. It just doesn't feel right if my shelf doesn't have a Buffalo Trace on it. And it's not super easy to find, but I also have like a few backups. But I'm never gonna like hold on to a bottle of Buffalo Trace. You know what I mean? Like if I have backups, they're going to the shelf once I'm done the next bottle.
Right.
Sometimes you have backups because you're like, man, this is hard to find and I might never find it. This is not Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is like just a good go-to for, when you need, like I will mix Buffalo Trace. I will drink it straight. I will drink it neat. I will drink it on ice.
That was your answer for a favorite old fashioned. Yeah.
I am happy to make a old fashioned whiskey sour. Heck, I could make a Sazerac with Buffalo Trace and be happy. But yeah, I always have a Buffalo Trace on my shelf. So that is my answer. In terms of next week, like I said, we have an interview episode, but we want to put it up to a vote this week. We have 2 bottles that are that we might want to do, and for Christmas, for the Christmas episode. One of them is Paul John Christmas edition, specifically from 2020. So, it's like festive. It's all that stuff. And then secondly, what was the one you were looking at? The rare character
Yes,
rye and amberana
that's right.
casks.
Yep,
So
that
we're gonna put
Amberana
that up.
cask gives it a nice nutmeg cinnamon finish and everything. So
Ooh,
it's a nice
Christmas
Christmas
spices.
spice rye.
Yeah, I love it. So, guys, thanks for listening. If you want to send us a gift, I'm going to shamelessly ask for that. But make sure you get it in by the 18th. Win yourself a bottle if you go hard. Or if you don't go hard and just get lucky. Any other thoughts, Brian, before we start the hopes?
No, I'm good. It's should be a good lead up to the Christmas season.
I agree.
I'm excited. I'll tell you all about my New York trip when I get back. I'm going there
Ooh,
next week. Actually, when you
me
hear
too.
this, I'll
Well,
be
I'm not
kind
going
of
to New York.
getting ready to go. But I'll have a lot of fun things to talk about New York when we get back,
That should be fun.
and I hope that you have a great time figuring out your secret samples and your Christmas
Yeah.
gifts and everything.
Yeah, me too. I hope you have a good time. Have you decided on what you're sampling?
Oh no, I
Or
haven't.
who you're sending it to yet?
So I've got the secret sampler thing. I've got this whole other thing going on where I'm
Nice.
sending some other friends a bunch of samples and stuff.
Ooh,
I have so much sample swaps to figure out that I'm
nice.
gonna have to spend a whole afternoon just pouring samples here coming
That's
up.
kind of cool.
So I
Yeah,
hope I have a have an easy time figuring out what the heck I'm gonna pour my
that's
secret
cool.
sampler.
Well, I hope that I have a fun time in Ohio next week. I got a work trip. So we'll be both out of town next week. But
Ooh, I hope when you're in Ohio, you hit up a couple stores and see what's going on over there.
oh yeah, if I can get some Weller out in Ohio, that'd be
Yeah,
fun. So
yeah,
apparently
yeah.
it's easier to find in the Ohio land. So I will
That's what I hear.
100% be checking out some stores out there.
Nice.
But I hope I have good luck, and I hope I can still find. I'm still figuring out what I'm gonna send you for Christmas, bottle wise. I've already sent you a. Actually, has it arrived yet?
I've gotten one thing from you.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. Besides that, there's a bottle to come,
Well,
and
I hope you don't
yeah,
sweat too much about it because it's supposed to be fun, and no matter what you
yeah.
get me, it's going to mean a lot because it
Oh
comes
no.
from you. But
Either way, I'm gonna get a sample of it, so I'm gonna be
yeah,
happy either way.
yeah. But most of
So.
all, listeners, I
Mhm.
hope our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. Sniff it.
She's like, wow.
So, so